Good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living live stream. My name is Radiant Games and I'm a practitioner with Centers for Spiritual Living. And if you will silence your devices, it sounds so funny when I say it. So I wanted to just say for a second that, this morning when I was getting ready talking to the sound team, they said, "What's your meditation on?" And I I don't have a plan. And I find that my meditations seem to work the best when I don't have a plan. So I just invite you to set aside all your plans, all your chores, all your errands, all that. Just set it all aside. I'm open to the one. Just breathe into the one. And if you have anything crossed, I invite you to uncross it. Let the consciousness flow through you as a live stream that you already are. Ground your feet on the floor and remember that you are one with the ground. Grounded in oneness. And if you're sitting, wherever you are, feel the thing that is holding you. Feel the support that is there for you, that is always supporting you. Because we know as God is all there is, God is always supporting you. And if a chair can support you that well, then we know that God is supporting us in ways we can't imagine. Take a moment and contemplate how it feels to be supported by the chair or the item you're sitting on. There is no fear, but instead complete conviction of the structure and security of the moment. Feeling it on every cell, every part of my skin. That connection, the gravity of it all. I am held in love. And always supported in the presence. The presence is mine. And I remember that I'm supported. So I visualize walking down a path that I know very well. Until around this bush, all of a sudden there's a drop off, a cliff, an edge. And I know that I must keep going, but there is no ground that I can see. I may experience a feeling of turning around and running for my life, but I know I must keep going. I know there is a gift on the other side, beyond what I can conceive. Because I know that the universe loves me more than anything else and loves you more than anything else, and is waiting with bated breath to support you. So I take a step into the open air. Fall down to fly, ever supported. And out of nowhere, this thing rises to meet me. What is this thing? What is the thing that will rise to meet you? If you know that you're supported, what will rise to meet your path? And it rises. So I take another step. And it rises again. And now I know it's going to rise again, so I take another step. Like floating in the air or standing on dirt under my feet, or flying through the air on the back of a griffin. I am supported. And now, because I know after 3 steps that the universe will support me, I start walking faster. And it's still working. It's still rising to meet me. Whatever that is for you, it's rising to meet you. It's rising to meet the I am. And at this point, I'm running across the open air because I'm so excited for the gift that I know is already coming. The sense of gratitude fills my being. My childlike excitement for that Christmas morning present. I know it's coming. And then I see it. The cliff on the other side, with a giant gift box wrapped in a bow. And I race towards it. No care in the world about how the universe will rise to meet me now. Only focused on the goal. So I race to the present. I hug the present in this present moment. It is a double present after all. And I open it up. And inside, I find the key to all of my challenges, all my obstacles removed, and bliss in life is magnified. And what I find inside the present is really just myself, waiting to hug me and expand. Yes, my beloved. I am the one who supports myself. I am the one who allows the universe to support me. And when I remember the universe supporting me, I squeal with delight. For I'm so grateful to remember that the universe is waiting patiently for me to say please so it can support me. And I'm so grateful for this continued, endless, loving, peaceful support that is always there. And as if so fast, I've only had this present for this present moment. I set it free. I start the machine. I let it go. Because I know that the gift is already happened. That I am already happening. And I find peace and clarity as I release all of this. I completely set it free. But remember the story. Remember the support. And now if you'll say with me as we come back together to the live stream, I am supported, and I know this to be so, as I say, and so it is.
Good morning and welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Eugene on June the 20th. This is one jam-packed weekend. We had our very first federal celebration of Juneteenth yesterday. And I want to honor all the people for whom this is a momentous occasion, and remember that this is just a step on a journey of reconciliation that we are on. And it's just one piece of a giant puzzle we're working with. And then today is Father's Day, and we honor the divine masculine in all of us, and especially in those that we have come to call fathers in whatever way, shape, or form they may have showed up in our lives. And it is the summer solstice. I mean, I don't know, let's just add something more in. It seems like we ought to have just at least one more thing to celebrate today, but it's the longest, officially the longest day and the shortest night of the year today. This is it, right here. So you were with us when this happened. And I am delighted that you could be with us, whether you're with us live or you're watching us on the screen at a later date. Whenever you are, hi. It's a great weekend. Center for Spiritual Living is a New Thought spiritual community. We're part of a larger organization known as New Thought, and we're cousins with Unity. We're cousins with the Unitarians. We're cousins with religious or Christian Science and divine science. And we all grow out of the Emersonian transcendental practices. And so we're American, are really, really grateful to be part of this community. We've been part of the Eugene Spring Fair for 51 years now, and we'll be celebrating probably in September, October, our 50+1 New Beginning celebration.
Thank you for your patience with our technical difficulties. We're getting a different camera set up, and Linda will be live back in just a minute. While we are waiting for that, I am going to bring in one of our, actually I'll bring in Radiant to do the prayer to bring us in. Hi, Radiant.
Good morning.
Take it away.
Oh, it's so great to be back. You know, there's that thing when you slip and fall into a bottle of ketchup. Anyway, I miss you guys, and I saw in the newsletter we are going to be meeting again in July 11th. I'm so excited. So anyway, if you will sit back and allow me to open this thing up, just take a deep breath and set all your stuff aside. And remember the oneness in this moment. The oneness of God, the oneness of what is, the oneness of what was. For I know that God is all there is. And as God is all there is, I too am God. Speaking God in this moment, I am a vessel to be used. And my conviction of heart is the wings of a dove, carrying it on to a universe that always says yes. So I know and affirm for myself and for anyone listening or in the future listening or at any time ever hears my voice in this live stream, I know this for you too, that there is always support to be had and that our love and connection is always growing. In this oneness of unity, reunited love. Knowing that we are together and supported. In complete gratitude to know this, to be a part of this, to hug all of you in this complete gratitude. I release this. I set it free and know that it is done as I speak these words. And please say with me, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Radiant, for picking up the ball and running with it. And thank you for that incredible meditation earlier. It was all just perfect and wonderful. And we're back. Hopefully the Wi-Fi is functioning well and we are good to go. So things are a little bit out of sequence and it's all good. So we're going to give you the global vision for our Centers for Spiritual Living. We've been sharing that a little bit each week. We go through it, and once a quarter we run through the whole thing. So we're coming towards the end here because we're almost at the end of the second quarter. We envision a world which has renewed its emphasis on beauty, nature, and love through the resurgence of creativity, art, and aesthetics. And may we all see the beauty of everything. And as in Radiant's meditation this morning, the presence of God is always coming towards us, always supporting us, always there for us. I remember years ago hearing, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And it's only in the last couple of years I've come to realize the teacher's been there all along. They kind of been standing there going, la, 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 la. And when we're ready, we then see them. But they've always been there. The teacher has always been there. God has always been there. The source has always been there, is always there. And I am grateful that we are able to share this today. One of our processes is to do an affirmation, and that's going to show up on your screen. And then I'm going to read it first, and then we'll read it together, those of you who can read it with me. But first, just allow it to enter into your consciousness. I lean forward into my life, transforming pain and discomfort into lessons of love and power. I consciously live my own truth. And together, I lean forward into my life, transforming pain and discomfort into lessons of love and power. I consciously live my own truth. And let us all remember that. Well, today now we have a video before and after the talk from Austin Chevalier Bowles, who will be doing that right now. So I want to ask the tech team to bring that up, and then we'll come back and do this morning's talk.
You've got to give a little, take a little, and let your poor heart break a little. That's the story of, that's the glory of love. You've got to laugh. That's the story of that's the glory of love.
Way to make the mommy cry a little bit. Okay. Thank you, Austin. That was wonderful. That takes me back a couple of years. Thank you. We are on the solstice. We are on the day of the solstice. A little over 20 years ago, in 1999, when I moved to Petaluma, they have the second oldest hospice in the nation. And I went to take training there in bereavement counseling as a new minister. And they had all these little tiles up around the ceiling with wonderful things. And that's where I first got introduced to Mary Oliver. And I thought, because it is the first day of summer, because it is the solstice, I want to open with the late Mary Oliver's introductory poem to me. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean. The one who has flung herself out of the grass. The one who's eating sugar out of my hand. Who's moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down. Who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I've been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? I saw those words up on the wall on the hospice, and they went right into my soul. What is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Our theme this month is the soul's call. It's the call of that within us which is connected to all that is, which is the higher self, which is the allness of who we are. Asking to be let out, asking to be listened to and heard and acted on. The work of hearing and adhering to the soul's call is work we're called to do all the time. This month we looked at how it is to be pushed by pain, how it is to lean into the discomfort of what it is that we're being called to do. And ultimately, because it's the soul's call, how to look beyond what is to what could be. How to look beyond what is to what could be. In our world, we have a tendency to want to fix whatever is. We look at what is, oh, let me fix this, let me make it better, let me help, let me do something. And I'm not saying we shouldn't be doing things in this world. We truly do need to do things in this world. There's much that is ours to do. Juneteenth is a reminder of that. That is just a step in the process. But what I want us to look at is, if I am fixated on what I think is wrong, I am just going to be rebuilding what is wrong. What I need to do is have a vision of what it could be, the world that I'm seeking, and leave what is in the dust as I build what could be. As I build the thing that's in my vision, the vision of my heart, the vision of my soul. This is what we're looking at. The topic of today's talk is, what is evolution without love? Hence the songs about love, hence the talk, the meditation about moving into trusting the love of God to be there for us all the time. The English major in me, of course, has to go back to words and whatever. And evolution, there's the Darwin's evolution and everything, but evolution has an evolving meaning. And the evolution of something is the gradual development of something, especially from a simple to a more complex form. 3 weeks ago, I was reading from Rob Bell's book, Everything is Spiritual, and the idea of after the Big Bang, there were just nothing but little particles floating about, and the particles began seeking each other out and joining together. And then after time, the particles joined together, become atoms. And then the atoms join together to become molecules. And those join together to become cells. We go from being the simplest of things to more and more complexity. Our world goes from being simple to more and more complex. And yet we are called constantly to remember the call of the soul. What is it that binds us together? I had an interesting conversation this week about the construct of oneness, and oneness does not mean sameness. Oneness does not mean we are in one little tiny cluster here of that we're all the same and we're all one. Oneness means we are connected. I used to say like the spokes of a wheel, where you've got the hub, and then as it moves out, as it gets closer and closer to the rim, everything is way more different, but at the center, it's really connected. But my friend said it's actually more like a spider web. Between each spoke, there's a connecting piece. Between each spoke, there's a connecting piece. So that we're all completely interconnected, one to the other, even though we're different. Even though we look different, we have different ages, different sizes, different shapes, we're all completely unique, and yet we're all part of one infinite wholeness. And we have to be careful in that wholeness that we don't expect conformity. Because I don't know about you, but I really don't want Chinese, Mexican, Hungarian, Thai goulash. I want each of those beautiful things to be the beautiful thing that they are, and try them separately. I don't want to throw them all into one pot. So in our desire to evolve with love, we have to be careful that that love includes allowing everyone to be what and who they really are. Evolution is the awakening of the soul to the recognition of its unity with the whole. I am who I am. You are who you are. We are who we are. And in the whole of things, we're one. But each of us is separate, like a jigsaw puzzle. We try for metaphors, and there are no metaphors for the complexity of our relationship one to the other. And yet that's what life is all about. That's what this adventure of life is about, is trying to figure out how we all fit together with one another and still be who we are. When I was doing weddings, I'm, it's going to sound big, because of my work with hospice, I'm really much more comfortable doing memorials. That's a more sacred point in life for me, to be able to be there for people as they are letting go of what has been. But I will do weddings on occasion, and I would occasionally get people who want to do the unity candle, which I think is a really cool thing, where the bride takes a candle and the groom takes a candle, and then they light a candle together, which is representing that the two become one. And I think that's really cool, but most ceremonies call for the people to blow out their candle then. And I said, no. You put your candle there and you put your candle there, because without a me and a you, there is no we. And so this is what we're talking about when we're talking about coming together as we evolve together, of allowing each of the intricate, beautiful pieces of who we are to show themselves in the finished whole. So it doesn't look like just this perfectly monochromatic, I don't want Baskin's one flavor. I want Baskin's 31 flavors. You know, I don't want to go in, and I don't want just vanilla, or I don't even want just Rocky Road. I want all of those things to choose from. So as we evolve, we need to include everyone and everything that is, in ways that allow everyone and everything to be who they are, and that's where the love comes in. We laugh a little, we cry a little, we even say goodbye a little. That's the story, and that's the glory of love. But we have to be willing to take. There is no light without darkness. There is no up without down. There is no in without out. All of these things that we put in sort of an either or kind of context really are both and. I was talking the other day to someone, life is this giant Venn diagram. We're just a lot of intersecting circles, you know, the Olympic rings and how they come together, how circles intersect, and parts of them overlap, but parts of them don't. This is the beauty. How do we include without excluding? And this is what we have to do to awaken to the truth of the fact that we're all connected at the heart of things, at the center of everything. Everywhere we go, whatever we do, wherever we are connected. We are connected to the infinite mind that created us out of nothing, out of itself. And we are connected to one another. I read an interesting story, you know, regarding the changes in climate and things. Recently, up in the northern areas, northern Canada, Alaska area, they had an area where they found thousands and thousands of dead seabirds on the shore, and they didn't know why. And what they finally discovered was that because the temperature in these seabirds fed on a specific kind of bait fish that swim near the surface of the water. Well, because of the change in the temperature in the water, the fish were living at a lower level now, and the birds couldn't dive deep enough to get to the fish. And so they starved to death. We're interrelated. Everything is connected. And now those fish don't have any checks and balances. And I don't know if anybody's looking into what's going to happen when those fish start overrunning, you know, what's going to happen there. We are totally and completely connected, and what we do matters, and what we do has ripple effects out into the world. And this is where we have to love and be loved, and open and be open to what's possible as we change and as we evolve. Because, darlings, we are evolving. We are not going to be going back to what we used to have. We are not going back to normal. We are moving forward into a new normal, which is going to include a whole lot of weird viruses that change and evolve and do weird tricks on us and attack our bodies. and ignite our immune systems and get things going. And what we have to be aware of is it's going to involve behaving differently with one another, being differently with one another, being more compassionate with one another, being more caring of one another. Because it isn't really about my freedom to mask or not mask when I'm not vaccinated. It's about my ability to be a host for a virus that can only live if it's in a living host. If my body doesn't provide a place for it, I'm not going to be carrying it. I can't give it to somebody else. So it does matter what I do with my body, because I could be hurting someone else. I could be the reason those fish shift, metaphorically. So love is where we are working to and towards and from. Love is what it is we are about. Love is the energy behind everything. In our Science of Mind creative process chart, top part of the chart is love, and that's considered the divine masculine. That is the motive power. That is the thing that sets things in motion. The divine masculine is what sets things in motion, and that is also known as love. It's not about romance and emotion. It is about life living itself fully, richly, and abundantly. It's not about male and female. It's masculine and feminine. There are two parts of everything, and they interconnect. It's the yin and the yang working together to create a balance in the world. But what we're looking at is love pointing the way, and then the laws of spirit, the receptivity, the process by which it changes, which is the divine feminine, makes it possible. So what we want to do is literally ask the question, whenever we're moving into a new direction in anything, the question is, what would love do? What would love do here? How would love see this? How would love respond to this? How would love make this grow? Always making love the motive force. So that will be an evolution of our teaching. Our teaching is growing and expanding. We've been around for 100 years, but we're not the teaching we were 100 years ago. We have the same basic constructs, but we're expanding and deepening them in new areas. And actually, when Dr. Holmes passed in the last year of his life, he said, I spent all my time focusing on the law, on how the law works, and how to put the law to work, and how to make the law make things happen. He says, I think I should have devoted more time to love. And I think that's what we're being called to. And as I work with the younger members of our congregation, the younger members of our organization, that's where they are. That's their driving principle, is love and inclusion. What would love do? And so this is also involved in the evolution of our center. We have 51 years of history here in Eugene, Springfield. And is that going to be a weight that keeps us where we've always been, or is that going to be a foundation from which we launch ourselves into a new way of being in the world, into a new way of being, a social justice, a loving energy in moving new things to happening in not just the Eugene area, but in the world. I work with Angela Alcantar, our lead practitioner. I said, we're going to create a rebel force of practitioners who are really going to be moving the energy in new directions in the coming years. So I invite you to be part of being the future, evolving with love into the new center of spiritual living, wherever it might be, wherever you might be. What is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? What would love do? Do that. And now Radiant is going to do a blessing of the offering, and then we're going to have another amazing song by Austin.
So, if you liked what you heard here, or you're excited for when we all come back, there are many ways you can contribute with a joyful heart, and it's really, really, really about how much joy you have for the center, how much joy you had when you felt Austin, or when you heard, felt Austin play his songs, and how that feels, and how you want to feel when you come back to the center, and everything that the center gives you, and how much it's an investment in yourself, right? So you're creating a space where you know you're going to have oneness, and you're putting your money, you're contributing your money to great things that you don't have to worry about us doing all kinds of weird things with your money, because your money is going towards creating a community that works for everyone. So you can contribute by the ways listed on the screen, or there are other ways. If you need help with that, reach out, call the office, or send me a message. I would be really glad to help you if you want to contribute to our center. So, first of all, I am prosperous. That's what I keep saying to myself. Prosperous doesn't mean more bills. Prosperous means I could just live in the conscious flow and never have to worry about anything. And I learned that at the center, and I live that at the center, and I move in the center that way. So, there is only one life, one complete presence, the conscious flow of life right now moving through me. And I know that as I am radiant, and anyone else who's listening, that we are all God, that I am God, I am, that we are, that it's all God. It's just all God. And I use the power of God to move through God, to speak the words of God, God and God and God. I know and affirm for anyone who's listening that prosperity is multiplied. Our prosperity is multiplied for the individual. Our prosperity is multiplied for this community. And it creates greater experiences for us to be together, and for our center to flourish and change the world. I'm so completely grateful for every cent that I give, for every cent that I receive, for every dollar, every $10,000. I'm grateful for all of it. And I'm grateful to give all of it with joyful heart. And I release this into the consciousness because I know it's already done. With complete conviction, I release it by saying, and so it is.
Take a walk down memory lane with me, past a watermelon very much then I play this song. If those harbor nights had just been a half a mile inland, who knows what I would have done. If those harbor nights had just been a half a mile inland, who knows what I would have done, what I would have done.
Bless you, Austin. Thank you. Has the most beautiful tenor voice. I just love hearing him sing. So we have some announcements coming. They're going to be putting them up on the screen. I know the very first one is at 11:15 today. You can join the after service Zoom hangout. Believe the link is on the slide, but if you can't copy all that down fast enough, I think they're putting it in the chat as well if you're watching on Facebook. And it's in the newsletter. The link is in the newsletter also and on the website. So if you want to get into that chat, it's from 11:15 to 11:45. And it's a wonderful opportunity to catch up with people that you haven't seen in a while and talk to them. Today it's being hosted by Radiant, who just was doing all the wonderful stuff. So you're going to want to get in and talk to her and tell her how much you enjoyed her meditation and everything. So there is that. Then, welcome back. We are going to be needing ushers and greeters and bookstore people and all kinds of folks, oh my. Starting July 11th, we're going to be having a full live service every Sunday with all the bells and whistles and all the chairs up and everything that not quite everything. We won't have coffee and cookies quite yet, but we will have the opportunity to come together and be in person with one another. So please, if you are interested in serving once a month, contact the office about that. Then upcoming, starting July, my thing. Starting July 7th, my little thing got smaller here, so I'm having trouble seeing what the slide is. I'm doing a book study on Ernest Holmes' book, Creative Mind and Success. You can get it online or at your local bookseller. It is a short little book. The most recent publication was, I think, in 2009 or something like that. But it is 107 pages, so we're just going to do a 4-week book study online. If we get enough people who want to do it in person, we may have one session online and one session in person. But in the meantime, check your newsletter, check our Facebook group. If you're interested, sign up for it, and we'll figure out how we're going to meet. And that starts July 7th. It's Wednesdays in the evening or Fridays in the morning. Danu is doing meetups with, one is Heart Space and the other one is for next gen people on Wednesday at 1 o'clock for Heart Space and at 3 p.m. for next gen. So if you're interested in that, just show up here at the center on Wednesday afternoon, and Danu will be happy to see you and listen, and you can check in and see what's going on. Then Saturday the 26th, Revealing Bias. This is a workshop that Angela is going to be doing, and this is just a 9 to 10 a.m. is just kind of an overview, an information thing as to whether or not you think, we don't think we're biased. We don't think we've got, prejudices or opinions, but we, just because of who we are and where we were raised, we see things through a certain filter. We see things a certain way. And if something is not normal to us, we think it's wrong and we're right. And these are what are known as biases. And so it's good to become aware of, where am I seeing with blinders instead of seeing fully? So check that out. The information session is free, and it's this Friday morning online. Again, check your newsletter or the website. On Mondays at 2, Sean is still doing integrative yoga online. You don't have to be an accomplished yoga person. You can do this with in a chair, or you can do it with regular yoga process, but he does a wonderful combination of our teaching with the principles of yoga. And if you're interested in this at all, check it out. The link is in the newsletter. And Thursday mornings at 7:30 is the forgiveness meditation with Angela, and that's always a wonderful opportunity to let go of stuff that's rolling around in your head, clean off the gerbil wheel, get out of the bottom of the cage, and let go of stuff. Okay, so, and that's it. Again, reminder: we're going to be back full time on July 11th. And we appreciate everybody who is here helping and who is here supporting. And it's going to be a hot week. So stay safe, stay hydrated, be good. And if you get your buttons pushed, just ask what would love to.